there, my name is Sheila Atieno Banzikro. I am the CEO and the co-founder of a national youth organization called Youth and Success Association, also abbreviated as YASA. Today I want to speak on the current pandemic, coronavirus, but I want to speak as an anthropologist and a social scientist. And I love to start by appreciating the efforts done globally and especially by our country, Kenya, the president and our beloved minister, Mutai Kagwe. It's a concerted effort. We've seen the healthcare givers, we've seen the government initiatives, we've seen various initiatives and also directives by WHO. But as a social scientist, my take would be let's not copy paste everything we're seeing from the developed world. We have seen it in the past. In some cases, it has worked against us. Case example, with the HIV/AIDS pandemic, there was this all, and even World Bank and WHO told us, told the communities, don't just give condoms, inform the communities on how to use those condoms. And with that comes in the cultural practices. These are very new things in their community. No one knew condoms before the HIV/AIDS. And this, as you all know, at the moment, 64% of the world population living with HIV/AIDS are from Africa. This is not that we are careless or but how were the messages, were the cultural practices involved as we are transferring the messages? A case example, when caregivers were going to the communities, they told our people, when you use the condom, how to use the condom. Practical example, take the condom and put it on the stick. Sorry guys, it's working at home, so you'll hear a lot of a lot of noise, background noise, and yeah, please bear with us. So a case example is when communities were told the only way to, one of the efficient way of preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS was the use of condoms, and we had a lot of messages of how the condom should be used, but culturally things like sex and how to use it were not put into perspective. So we saw a lot of caregivers telling some communities, and this is a real-time example, that one should take the condom and put it on their stick. And literally, culturally, some communities use the stick as literal as it is. So in some communities, people are taking condom and putting it on the stick. And the HIV/AIDS spread was discovered that it was even increasing. So when anthropologists and social scientists were taken into place to understand what was the problem, they realized the cultural aspect of it was not related to the malaria. Um, so generally, as WHO and other health providers indicated that, when you have mosquito nets, when you sleep inside mosquito nets, you will not get malaria. And that's the general overview. So there was a mass and conventional distribution of mosquito nets, free mosquito nets. But culturally, what does these mosquito nets mean to the communities? Worse off, some mosquito nets in some areas of the country, especially the coastal areas, there were distribution of the white mosquito nets. And when these mosquito nets were distributed, many of the families were not using it. And people kept on saying, these communities are stupid. They can't sleep inside mosquito nets while they've gotten mosquito nets for free. But when culturally and when sociologists and anthropologists went to the ground to see what was the reason why these people are not using the mosquito nets while they're supposed to save their lives, they understood clearly that these white mosquito nets were reflecting light in the night. So they could be seen as, and in the coastal area, there's this concept about magini. And many of the, sorry for the work at home, many of these communities believe a lot in Majini. Majini is the devil in the night or something like that. So they decided to keep away the mosquito nets and to sleep so that the devil will not come in the night. So when we have everyone coming together and not copy pasting, the anthropologists inform, or alternatively the social scientists inform the government that if we can have a different color, it will not reflect in the night, and that's why we have now green mosquito nets and blue mosquito nets, and these people have embraced it. Why am I sharing these many examples? In the coronavirus pandemic, we've had a lot of things like let's not do handshake, so there's no longer handshake, we have the head shake, the leg shake and all that. But are all communities in Africa, do they adhere to the handshake? Do they have other ways of greetings that can even spread coronavirus more than what we are talking about handshake? For hands, it's easy to wash, but what are other means of greetings that can spread this? You know, let's not assume that everyone is, especially in Africa, to be very specific. We have different ways of greetings, and these different ways of greetings can even spread corona. Another copy paste, probably one, Kenya is highly developed in terms of tech. You already have mobile money like M-Pesa. Why don't we adopt such kind of things? I applaud the president to have mentioned things like using digital money. Why can't we be radical about it? Other than talking about social distancing, which is very impractical, especially among our slum dwellers in highly populated places. Why can't we embrace things like mobile money, digital money, before we start handling things that might not work or might even spread the coronavirus in a very higher rate? So what am I trying to say? As you know, this coronavirus, it's something that no one has ever gotten exposed to it. It's something new, but you can learn from the other pandemic responses. Culturally, culture plays a very big role in prevention. Let's be proactive and not reactive. We have a lot of healthcare providers. Let's work with the community leaders. Let's involve the community leaders, the cultural elders, government, work very closely with social scientists, medical, and let's work as a team. Because if we become reactive, we might not manage it. The developed countries are overwhelmed by the number of patients, and here in Africa, I don't think we have even the resources to take care of all what can happen, God forbid. So for me as a social scientist, I see there's a lot of things we can do. Please let's not copy paste responses that are, as you all know right now, what's happening in China, Italy, US. These are highly developed countries. And when you talk about social distancing, it means that somebody has their own room, they have their own toilet, they have their own bathroom, and they can lock themselves in their own room. In Africa, and especially in populated cities like in our slums, let's take an example of Kibera. One house, one household, one room can hold 8 people. How do they practice social distancing? The first thing to do right now is to identify culturally what can help us and what we can learn from other countries. My advice would be for the government to work very closely with the community leaders, the cultural leaders, social and all that, and so that we can understand the directives of the WHO and culturally input them into our African perspective. This thing we'll either swim together as Kenyans or we'll win together. So we work very closely, and maybe some takeaways for the government is to stock up, start buying things, especially for the rural folks and the slum dwellers, because most of them live hand to mouth. If you tell them to, quarantine and curfew, some of those things, they don't understand because they have to meet their daily needs. So I've seen countries like Rwanda, I don't know how true it is, but the government right now needs to just stock up. We don't know about the future. Another thing is to put very designated areas, and this they can work with community volunteers. Even in our organization, we have over 11,000 young people that can be volunteers. Work with volunteers and the community leaders and put clear water points, because this example, the slum areas, they don't even have running water. So can we have those clear water points with soap and even somebody to man it? And as you and me, and also to enforce the use of M-Pesa or digital, because even M-Pesa right now, below 1,000 shillings is free. Can we embrace such things? Example, like in Kilifi, I've just had one of the tellers tested positive. You can imagine how many people can get infected by just using that one note. So let's embrace what you already have. and work closely and understand our culture. Because if we don't put that into perspective, we will not be in a position and start identifying places that people can go. And I think in a nutshell, let's understand our culture as we try as much as learning from other countries and getting WHO directives, localize it, and we shall win this corona fight. Thank you very much.